Greetings, scholars. I want to give you the results of my day one writing. One of the things that I'm doing this semester, I'm trying to write the paper along with you for the most part. I'm not going to do the entire paper, but I do want to give you an idea of the length and how this paper is going to go. So, what I did, I took a few moments today to write section one, which was the introduction with 3 paragraphs. And I want to show you the results of that section, and I want to talk to you about some things that are going to go into this section. So here are your instructions for the paper. Everything is here for you. And I'm going to click over to my writing. So again, everything is here for you. I did go back and add page numbers. I'll talk about that later on. So I took a few moments to sit down to write the paper, the introduction. And one of the things that you'll notice, I am not going to read this to you. Don't worry, you're not going to have to sit here and watch a recording of me reading this to you. But the one thing that I did do, section one was 3 paragraphs, but remember I told you that I did not give you a limit for the first paragraph, which is your reaction. And I didn't do that because when I started typing this, I wound up typing 2 paragraphs of introduction. This is posted on Blackboard for you, so you can go back and read this. So, but I do in the first 2 paragraphs give you my reaction to the Uvalde tragedy. Okay. I focused on just what I thought about it, those things that I could get out. And if you look at this overall, you have page one and the introduction. My introduction really spans, I think I overwrote, but that's good, until page 3. So I may have overwritten. I only have 5 pages to do. So overwriting for a draft, remember, this is a draft. Okay. Overwriting for the draft is fine because you want to make sure that you get those 5 pages. For me, like I said, it took me 2 paragraphs to do the introduction, to do the first paragraph in which I described my reaction. In the next section, which is B, which is going to be your definitions, one of the things I did, I just went through and I just gave definitions of 3 terms, right? So the first term I did was mass shootings, okay? I went through and look at this. This is a direct quote that I took directly from the source, and the source is documented here, which is Burke, right? The second source that I took information from, I wanted to know about gun control, so I did my definition for that. This is my source information. The last piece of information, or the last definition that I took, is talking about the AR-15 style weapon. Again, in MLA format, I list my source. Now, what took me so long? Because writing this didn't take a long time. Citing this in MLA format did take me an hour because I looked up the information for my definitions. Okay. And then as I did it, I went to my MLA works cited page, and I put the information in correct MLA format on the works cited page. So not only did I write the first section one, I also made sure that any research that I had, just to make sure, I went ahead and put everything on my works cited list. So, and I had to make sure that I documented things correctly according to the works cited list. One of the things I did, and one of the things that helped me, I'm going to just take Burke for an example. I'm going to do the control, and I'm going to click the link, and I'm going to go to the website, and it takes me here. It doesn't take me to the page that I wanted it to take me to, which is odd. But here is the source right here. What is a mass shooting? What can be done? I can click on this, and once I click on this, I see the title of the article. First of all, I see the Department of Criminology, which is where the publisher of the information. I see the author's name. I see the title. I'm going to need all of this in order to set up my entry for my works cited list. One of the things that I did with this is I was able to go to the MLA, I was able to go to MLA format on Purdue, and this link is up for you. And I was able to go to formatting the electronic sources. And this page, you can put the website into here. You can only do it a couple of times. It was better for me, and I think this is why it took so long, that I just went down here and I just looked up the information. And here's the information that you need, okay? Whenever you take information from a website, you need, if it look for these things, does it have an author or an editor? The title of the article goes into quotation marks. The title of the website goes into italics. If you have any additions, any volumes, any issues, put that information there. Put the publisher information. If it has page numbers, put the page numbers. If it's a database, don't necessarily put paragraph numbers in here. You are going to need the website, the URL, and you're going to need the date of access. So I just used all of this information. I looked at this information and I said, okay, I will find as much of this information as I can for my source. So when I go back to the actual paper, I saw the author. It has an author. I give the author's name, comma, first name, period, the title of the article. Remember capitalization, capitalize all important words on the title except for articles and prepositions. I have the Department of Criminology, which is the publishing. I have where I got it from, Penn and Arts and Sciences. I have the website. So look at this. I have the website. And the last thing that I have on here, which I have to have my date of access. So I access this information on June 12th, 2022. I ended the entry with a period. Make sure you take note of MLA where periods go in quotation marks, websites. And the only thing I had to do after that is just create my hanging indentation. So look at this hanging indentation. What does that mean? It means that the first line always begins on the margin. The second line begins indented, okay? First line begins on the margin. All other lines are indented. To alphabetize, right? We do not use the title of an article, A and D. What are your three articles? A and D. Even though this begins with D, I cannot use the article to alphabetize. In alphabetical order, BE comes before BU. B always comes before D. D comes before F, right? So as you borrow information, especially if you have to look up information, what I suggest to you, go on and put that information on your works cited list just to make sure that you have it. In the third paragraph, which deals with the history background information, again, I have the information. I use a direct quote because I just copied this word for word. I have the source information here in the margin. Okay. And then I end this by telling the reader exactly what I'm about to go into, which is my next section, the causes. In order to make sense of school shootings, we need to examine the causes and the effects mass shootings have on our society today. And that leads me directly into my next section, which I'm going to write on day 2, the causes. Okay. Read this carefully. It is posted to Blackboard. Make sure that you understand the assignment. And if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to email me. I will be happy to answer your questions. Good writing to you, and I will see you in the next video.